our friend Peter Burns from the SEC Network joining us here on the show. What's up, PB?
Man, I wish I was in College Station either last weekend or this weekend. I'm telling you what, like, I still like that the blackout, the all like black on black look just looked amazing. And the script in the end zones, like, it was a clean look from the Aggies last weekend.
It was, and I think that crowd all wearing black with the white towels really popped.
Oh, there's no doubt. I mean, like when Mo Bamba plays, and I mean Power, I'm just like, and I know y'all are doing the throwback, but I'm like, dude, Mike Elko going forward, like just go full into like the dark side, Darth Vader, like all like turn that into like a new tradition out there. I'd love to see it, and they're going to need it this weekend because damn, if DJ Lagway, they kind of got something figured out last week. I'm just trying to figure it out if it actually travels now.
Well, I'm interested because you saw Florida play LSU, and just like from what you saw from that game, and then kind of compare it to what you saw versus Texas, like I feel like this is a really good team that just has a couple of losses. Am I right in my thinking?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fair. I think you're seeing a DJ Lagway that's finally healthy enough to practice with the better players on his team. I mean, remember, he didn't have spring football and because he was, banged up. He didn't really practice in the fall. So basically they threw the ball out there and be like, all right, go figure it out again. And he didn't play a ton of football last year. So, again, this is a guy that's finally starting to practice, and they got playmakers, man. I mean, Dallas Wilson was a stud. I mean, like, we talk about guys like Jeremiah Smith over at Ohio State or Ryan Williams, coming on the scene as a freshman last year for Alabama. But this kid is legit. He's a real deal. I mean, it reminds me of like a little smaller version of Anquan Bolden, and that's a true freshman. So they finally have that kind of, 1-2 punch offensively. The question is can they do it on the road? I've seen DJ on the road one time with my own eyes. I was on the sidelines. It was 5 interceptions. They got to him. That's why I think it's so imperative that the crowd is truly the 12th man coming up on Saturday night.
When you watch A&M play this year, what jumps out about them in particular this season as opposed to maybe what you saw last year or other regimes?
Probably the confidence and just the depth as far as playmakers, right? I mean, there's always been like maybe one playmaker, either a good running back or a good wide receiver. But the fact of you got 2 legit running backs, you got 2, if not 3, legit wide receivers if you're going to throw Bussy in there as far as with Craver and Concepcion. And I mean, I said it on the show on Monday that if and when Marcel Reed figures it out, like they kind of did the second half against Mississippi State, A&M isn't the best team in the SEC. A&M is the best team in college football. I'm a firm believer that they have that amount of talent. They just got to get Marcel to get that kind of next kind of step. And if he does, man, I mean, I don't think it's close. I mean, that's a team that should be in Atlanta.
Do you think, though, Florida has figured things out, or is it still one weekend against a Texas team that's still trying to find their identity?
I think it's more of the Texas team trying to find its identity. I mean, I think they're good. They've always been good. They've always had talent on there. The question is, how many times can you say, all right, I got to lock in? I mean, it's kind of like a golfer trying to make the cut, and he's like, all right, I can't afford any more bogeys. Well, sooner or later, that's not easy to live week to week that way. So, and you can't live week to week that way in the SEC, which is a mini NFL, when you have that much talent. So, for me, I look at it and I'm like, there's just too much firepower for A&M this weekend. And frankly, this feels like feels like on Monday morning, we're going to be talking about, all right, what's next with Billy Napier and the Florida Gators and DJ Lagway and this whole crew.
Talking to Peter Burns here on TexAgs Live. Super interested in the Alabama-Missouri game. I think I figured out who Alabama is. I'd like to know how big of a test this Missouri team is going to be when A&M has to go there on November the 1st. Ahmad Hardy looks dynamic, but now they're stepping up in weight class. How do you see this game playing out, Peter?
Yeah, I mean, I look at Missouri this year as a slightly better version of Vanderbilt, right? I mean, I think Bo Pribula, as much he doesn't get the hype that Diego Pavia gets because he doesn't, have the trash talking like Pavia has. But I think Missouri is legit, and I will tell you this: I think that when it came down to it, that Missouri has the defense, especially the cornerbacks, to at least be a speed bump for Ty Simpson and that crew, because that was a big difference. I mean, Ty Simpson was dealing. I talked to people at Vanderbilt this weekend, and after the loss, and I was like, all right, what surprised you the most? And they said, listen, we threw things at Ty that we hadn't shown anybody. Like, this was going to get home 90% of the time, and he always had an answer for it. He kept his eyes down the field, and he made us pay. And the fact of right now, Alabama, you have to play pretty flawless to beat them right now. I mean, again, Ty Simpson's playing as good a football as anybody right now in the country. And so he's kind of found his voice outside as well, too. So, I mean, literally, it's a coin flip game. I picked Vandy. I mean, I picked Alabama last week. I just thought Vandy didn't have an answer for those wide receiver crew. I think Missouri does. If I had to lean away, I'm looking at like Missouri 31, Bama 28 right now.
Talking to Peter Burns here on TexAgs Live. PB, let's talk Texas OU. Everybody's interested in seeing if Texas is going to get that third loss, if Mateer's going to play, and how that affects the game. This is one that I think for me would be a no-brainer if Mateer plays, and it still might be a no-brainer. Am I wrong?
I mean, again, Vegas always seems to know something, and the fact that when the line opened at Texas -2, I'm like, what the hell have they been watching? And then I realized they build billion-dollar casinos. Like they know something, and I'm like, this doesn't make sense. This Oklahoma defense is legit. Michael Hawkins Jr., he's good, not great, but what have you seen out of Arch and this whole crew that think it's going to get better? Like, I'm not seeing C.J. Baxter come back this week. They're running back, and he's dealing with a hamstring injury, and they've been struggling to run the ball. I mean, Texas reminds me a lot of LSU right now, and the fact of they can't run the ball, the offensive line is a mess, and then the guy that they thought the quarterback play was going to be incredible hasn't been that case. But the difference is LSU has probably more weapons than Texas right now. So I like Oklahoma in this game. I think we're kind of overthinking it. And again, I know a lot of people are trying to give hell to Arch Manning, and he hasn't played great. But when you watch the actual film, I mean, Manning's trying to make as many plays as possible. They have no rushing attack whatsoever. I expect Sark to try to run the ball a little bit more this week. I just don't know if they'll have that success over in Dallas.
Talking to Peter Burns here on TexAgs. All right, Peter, what did the bye week do for LSU?
I mean, figure out who the hell they were. I mean, again, they got caught up in a bad situation against Ole Miss. You lose one of your offensive linemen during the week of it. In warm-ups, they lose another offensive lineman. Your star running back was out, and you lose your star wide receiver. I think it's a no-brainer down in Baton Rouge this weekend, because I think that they're fired up, ready to go. They're going to run the ball a little bit more and really try to take the ball out of Lenore Sellers' hands. I think there was so much of a onus put on Garrett Nussmeier to be the guy when they probably should have done that simply for the fact of I don't think he was 100% healthy. I think he's better right now, and this feels like one of those 31-17 games. LSU just put South Carolina away.
Yeah, Georgia, Auburn. Is this like, I already feel like I know what Auburn season is going to be like. Is this where we find out what kind of season Georgia is really going to have?
And I don't know what Auburn has, right? I mean, like Jordan Hare is one of those places that you go at night and it's spooky, right? Like it's just a weird vibe. It depends on if Hugh gets out of his own way. If Hugh gets out of his own way and they try to run the ball, I think they're going to have some success against Georgia. But if all of a sudden he gets trigger happy and tries to call 30 passes, that's a recipe for disaster. So I'd like to see it's hard to tell right now because every game breaks a little bit different. But at the end of the day, I expect to see some type of run split, like 65% runs versus 35% passes for Jackson Arnold and this Auburn team. And I think that might be good enough to win the game. Like, we got to start looking at college football like we do the NFL. And I know I say that almost every week, but it's who you play, where you play them, and when you play them. And I think this is a good spot for Auburn coming off the bye to get right.
Who are the quarterbacks playing at the highest level in the SEC? The three highest quarterbacks, in your opinion?
I'll go with Ty Simpson being one. I mean, legit. I'm glad I put $1 or $2 on Heisman chances right before the Georgia game because I thought he would pop, and indeed he did. Outside of that, I don't think there's anybody that's been necessarily great. Mateer was playing great, but then he's been banged up, so we don't have it. Bo Perbula, we'll find out this weekend, but they haven't played anybody really with a pulse. I think Trinidad Chambliss having to come in right now at Ole Miss and they play Washington State, so he should be able to put up a number this week. I'm really curious what Lane's going to do about Austin Simmons and Trinidad. I don't know how you can continue to not go with Trinidad. He's been so good. But I'd put, honestly, just two guys that have played extremely well, and outside of that, everybody's waiting for that third person to pop.
PB, we appreciate you so much, man. Thanks for making some time.
See y'all. Y'all have a good one on Saturday night. It's going to be a blast.
Thank you.